Hello out there, friends, acquaintances, loved ones. Hi! I have been talking about doing this for a while, so today is the day I'm going to start the Pus-sy Parlor, which is going to be a live time to talk about this revolution, this art I do, to answer questions, to share stories, and just to really give you a feeling of me and this art and this mission, and give you an opportunity to talk to me and ask questions about it and just feel into it all, the whole shebang, the whole mission, the whole vision, and how you are a part of this vision just by being you. So, Pus-sy Parlor, spontaneous jump in, day number 1. So today I want to talk about a little bit about like where this idea came from and how long I've been doing it, and the kind of the origin story of the Pus-sy portraits. So if you don't know me yet, my name's Kadoma. Hello. And I am a Pus-sy portraitist. I commission, work with women who commission me to go through an experience, a process of getting their vulva painted and reclaiming their body and their eros and their desire and their life force and their creativity through this sacred process of art and ritual. And so I do this with deep honor, and it's an initiation for myself and each woman involved. So I am definitely stepping into that role of Pus-sy witch, Pus-sy priestess. It is a journey of incredible magnitude to go through the process of a Pus-sy portrait with me. So the idea came for this, its origin was, I probably had the idea about 10 or 15 years ago. And at any point, if you have any questions, if you're watching live or the replay, just drop your comments. If you're new to me, say hello, let me know. How does the word pussy make you feel? There's so much to talk about here, right? So feel free to converse in the comments. So the idea came to me probably about, as I said, gosh, probably even 15 years ago now, likely. When I saw the book, a friend of mine had the book called Petals. I was meeting weekly with a small group of friends. We talked about sex, and we called it the Tantric Group book club, but we never read any books. We just ended up talking about our experience and our bodies and our experience with sex, and just the intimacy of growing and sitting in a group of women and talking about the taboo, right? So in this group, one of my friends had brought this book called Petals. And if you haven't seen the book yet, I highly recommend the book. It's a beautiful black and white photograph book, close up of vulvas. And I saw these images and I was just blown away in so many ways. First, the beauty of each one, the uniqueness of each one. And that's what really struck me upon looking at page after page of these different vulvas, is how unique each one is. They're all different shapes. They're all different sizes. The different parts are shaped in different ways. And, you know, we're kind of taught and trained to think of the vulva looking one way. And vulva diversity is a big part of why I do this, actually, and that's a whole other live. But I saw this book, I saw the variety of vulvas in the book, and I was just touched deeply by the beauty, the vulnerability, the power, and the uniqueness, and how each one is, each of ours, our own as a Pus-sy owner, are unique as our fingerprint, really. And of course, a place that has been shamed, a place that's been disconnected from physically, the down there, the we don't touch it, we don't talk about it, all of that is also a big part of why I do what I do, to reawaken that. But when I saw that there was such a variety and that this place and this power, the recognition of how shamed it has been, I had the idea, wow, wouldn't it be amazing to do pussy portraits? At that point, it was just an idea in my head. I was like, oh my gosh, that would be so cool. Pussy portraits, yes. And I had been an artist, working with the goddess and sacred forms in art for a long while. At least starting in college, I started studying the goddess and sacred forms of the feminine through art. And so had done a lot of drawing of symbols and looked at ancient symbols of the vulva and had been working with it as an artistic symbol of consciousness for a long time, and recognized also that a lot of the doodling and a lot of the drawing that I had been doing for a long time was very vulvic. It was very pussy shaped. So those two light bulbs kind of came on in my soul. Pussy portraits, wow. Vulva diversity, yes. And art. And at that point in the game, I was not ready to wield the power of the process. And I don't feel that 15 years ago that really the zeitgeist, the surroundings, the culture was ready for it either. So it's just something that I put into my back pocket, into my soul tool bag, as something that maybe I'll do someday. And it sat there for 15 years with some thought and some processing and lots of marinating in just the process of owning my own feminine power, the process of owning my own sacred erotic power during that following 15 years ripened me enough to be able to say, okay, I'm ready to start sharing this. And during that same time, I believe there was a lot of stuff going on in the culture where a lot of people still, it is so fucking edgy, and I completely recognize that. And the word pussy is chosen with deep honor and purpose, even though it's really edgy. There are many, 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 many more of us as women that are opening to and hungry for reclamation of our bodies, reclamation of our sexuality, our sensuality, our desire, and the beauty and the uniqueness and the celebration of who we are. And so all of this tied together came to a moment about 2.5 years ago, where I had been working with women clients in a program that I designed around our menstrual cycle, because I've done a lot of work around that, empowering women around that as well in my time. And so I was already very close to these women. We had been journeying together in an intimate program online during COVID for about 6 to 8 weeks. And towards the end of the program, I just kind of, the little spark, the little bubble bubbled up to the top of like, maybe this is the time to share the pussy portrait idea with these women that already trust me, that we're already close, right? So I offered that out, and 2 women were like, yes, I want to do this with you. And those were my first 2 paintings. They were small. They were probably about 5 by 7 little babies. And it was the beginning. It was the seed of a journey that has been blooming and blossoming and growing for the last, gosh, I guess it's about 3 years of my life now, 2 or 3 years. Maybe even longer. I don't know. Time is slipping. in all of its ways, but it has grown, it has blossomed. I started offering it, and now women that don't know me from around the world are seeing my work and contacting me and saying, I want to do this with you. Some women are scared and come to me like, this is the most edgy thing, and I can't even say that word pussy out loud, and this feels so scary. And we go through the process of healing and reclamation and coming home. And the painting is kind of the end of a long process. Some women come to me that are like, all right, I'm ready, sending you my picture, send me the meditation, I'm going to take my picture, I'll send it to you. And everything in between. In all of the processes, it's an initiation. It's a powerful, incredible self-love, reclamation, and celebration of this unique, beautiful, powerful, creative life force part of our bodies that has been kind of cut off. So that is where it's all come from. I think, the connection and the thread weaving to my college days when I did choose to study the sacred feminine and the goddess through art and history. I'm 52, so studying at that point was 30 years ago. And my thesis was all about the goddess and the overcoming of the goddess through the patriarchy, tracing that through art and history. And I remember way back then in college with my major doing an independent major in art history and cultural studies and art as symbolic form, as symbolic consciousness, and doing this thesis all about the goddess and the sacred feminine, really before anyone was really talking about it. People saying, what are you going to do with that major, right? What are you going to do with that? And me having no idea. But now I know. It's all woven into this work, this painting, this ritual. And it is a ritual. My painting is a ritual. The initiation is a ritual. So if any of you have any questions for me about any of this, feel free to ask. I'm here about the origin, about how it's done, any questions at all really about the whole thing. Feel free to ask if you're live or if you're watching the replay. And I am gonna, while I'm waiting for any questions, I'm gonna show you a couple of prints that I have available for sale. Because if you want some of the art, I also have some really beautiful prints for sale at the moment. And I thought when I do these Pus-sy parlors, I can just share. I think I'll share one at a time and talk a little bit about the piece. So again, if you have questions, ask them. So the piece I'm going to share today is this one. This piece. So the print itself is 11 by 14. And then the frame, I think it ends up being like 16 by 22, maybe? I don't know. So this print is called No Mud, No Lotus. So this was originally a painting, a commissioned portrait, and the vulva that was commissioned, it was with a friend of mine, and I loved the shape a lot, and I asked her if I could reuse the shape for making other paintings, and she loved that idea very much. So I made a stencil from the other one, made a larger image and then made a stencil. And this one, the No Mud, No Lotus concept really comes from the experience that I've had. I think that we've all had in our lives, absolutely. But every woman that I've worked with really has gone through this process of moving from pain to power in her life, in her heroine's journey, in the work that we do together to get to the point where the painting is done. And so the concept of no mud, no lotus, really celebrating the power that we have. Each of us that, you know, so many of us go through really fucking hard stuff. And there's a lot of hard stuff around our sexuality. Both men and women, all of us have a lot of trauma around it. And for women, in working with women particularly, working through the trauma to rise up out of that muck, out of the mud, and be celebrated, celebrate herself, be celebrated by others, to shine, to radiate, to bloom, to blossom. This is a big part of the process of the art and the ritual. So making a lotus flower out of this vulva and having the concept of no mud, no lotus is a concept piece for the work itself. And the original of this piece is actually went to an erotic art show in Panama, and it's still there. They're hanging out in Panama. But this is a print. It's a beautiful G-clay, I think it's called, archival pigment print. And that's her story. And I had her printed up and framed for a festival, and she was on the walls, and now she is looking for a home. If it's something that you are interested in, please let me know. This print with the frame, I can send it to you, and it's $225. Again, 11 by 14 is the size, and much larger with the mat and the print. And archival pigment print, printed beautifully by a local printer on the island that I live. So if she interests you and you want to take her home, please let me know. You can direct message me or comment, and I'm open to payment plans if that is how it works for you. I just want her to be loved. Go a little closer. There she is. She's got some gold on the bottom. Now let me see if there's any questions. Okay. Angela says, no question, just a moment to offer gratitude. Thank you for sharing your story. It's all absolutely beautiful and necessary as we collectively reclaim us. Yes, that is it. Collectively reclaiming us. I love that. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, thank you for tuning in with me today. I will be doing this weekly and just talk about different things, share prints. Also, if you are interested in exploring a portrait of your own, you can direct message me. I'm going to have some spots up and opening up this month, and there's various sizes, there's various ways that we can go about it together. And if it's calling you, if you're curious, direct message me and we can just have a talk on the phone without, it's just a free kind of connection call to check and talk and see if it feels good to you. And you can also check out my website, KadomaColumby.com, where you can find out all different stuff about the Pus-sy portraits. And I'm sending y'all great love on this day. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.